You know the thing about a shark? He's got lifeless eyes. Black eyes, like a doll's eyes.
The most famous scene in Jaws doesn't involve a shark at all. No fins slicing through the water, no screaming swimmers or cutting soundtrack. It's just three drunk men sitting in a cramped little boat telling stories and comparing literal scars without really acknowledging the figurative ones that bind them all together. After one character tells the story of 1,100 men who fall into the water and only 316 survive, we feel his fear, his remorse, his survivor's guilt. Jaws shows us you don't need to see the bloody attacks or meet in the water aftermath. You could just feel it. And 50 years on, no shark movie since has managed to catch that same feeling again.
You go inside the cage. Cage goes in the water. You go in the water. Shark's in the water. Our shark.
Released in 1975 based on the book of the same title by Peter Benchley, Jaws is at its core a very simple story. The police chief of a tourist town works with a marine biologist and a shark hunter to stop a killer shark who's begun attacking beachgoers during the town's busiest season. While that description sounds breakneck and gory, the film is much more thriller horror than, say, something like Piranha 3D. What Jaws understood, and what almost every shark or animal rampage movie since has misunderstood, is that horror isn't about the beast. It's about the people reacting to the idea of the monster.
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
The film rights to Jaws were bought before the book was even released, and when relative newcomer Steven Spielberg came aboard, the screenplay went through several rewrites from several writers to fine-tune the script into a tension-building machine. The genius of Jaws wasn't that the shark was terrifying, it was that the shark meant something to each respective character. To Chief Brody, played by Roy Schneider, the outsider cop from New York, it was a threat to his ability to protect. To Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, the rich kid oceanographer, it was a chance to prove something. To Quint, played by the brilliant Robert Shaw, it was the re-emergence of old trauma.
So 1,100 men went in the water. 316 men come out. The sharks took the rest. June the 29th, 1945.
The shark was never just the focus, it was the trigger, a barely glimpsed force of nature that brought everyone's fears and flaws to the surface. Part of that shift in focus was a bit of an unexpected gift. The animatronic shark, nicknamed Bruce, simply refused to work most of the time. Initially, the shark was slated to be much more prominent in the movie, but the robot kept sinking, breaking, and just looking comical instead of imposing, so they didn't show it. Not fully, they held it back, suggested it through the music cues and ripples in the water, and in doing so, they stumbled into one of the most powerful storytelling tics in cinema. It let the audience's imagination do the work. The less you saw the shark, the more powerful it became. Today, when a shark movie comes out, the trailer shows everything in the first 10 seconds. That's how the modern movie economy works. You have to show the goods up front. There's no slow burn. There's no patience. Filmmakers are less concerned with making us afraid as they are making us anticipate the next cool death. The best way to understand how far we've gotten from Jaws is to look at Sharknado. Not because it's the worst shark movie ever made, though it wants you to argue that it is, but because it's the purest expression of what the modern shark movie has become. It's irony turned sincerity. In Sharknado, sharks are no longer predators, they're punchlines. They're dropped from the sky, chainsawed in half. The horror is gone, the awe is gone. It doesn't want to scare you, it's trying to get you to shout about it on the internet. It wants you to talk about it in a video essay on Jaws. And then there's something like The Meg, a $130 million attempt to do a modern Jaws for the thrills and kills. It's mostly watchable, which is inarguably more damning because it's also so hollow. It has no characters, no arcs, no human story. It has stakes, sure, but they're paper thin. A kid might die, or a dog, or some faceless scientist. The movie doesn't care. You're already watching. Now, The Meg 2 digs its heels or fins deeper. The sharks have buddies. Giant octopuses, underwater dinosaurs. The only evolution happening here is the shift from shark horror to PlayStation cutscene. We're watching pixels chase other pixels. There's no tension. There's no weight. There's no Bruce. One of the weird ironies of shark movies is that the more we see the shark, the less it scares us. The monster becomes demystified.
Die already! Why won't you die?
We've seen every kind of shark movie now. Sharks in deep sea labs, sharks in open water, sharks in tornadoes. There's not much left to do with them, but none of them can escape the gravitational pull of Jaws, because Jaws already did all of it, and it did it first. Even when you talk about terrible shark movies, Jaws did those too. The Jaws sequels are a masterclass in missing the point. Each one doubles down on the shark and forgets the heart. Jaws 2 tries to repeat the original beat for beat, but trades dread for melodrama. Brody's still shouting about the danger, but the tension's gone, because we've already seen the shark. Jaws 3D is pure theme park schlock, literally set in SeaWorld, complete with clunky 3D effects and a shark that looks like it's made of wet cardboard. It's not suspense, it's spectacle. And Jaws, The Revenge, that's where the shark follows the Brody family to the Bahamas. It's personal now, somehow. There's also the simple reality of special effects. Jaws, even in its broken, leaky animatronic form, physically existed. The shark had mass. It moved through real water. You could feel it. And modern shark movies rely almost exclusively on CGI. Even with today's advancing tools, digital sharks just don't land the same way. You never believe they're really there. Watch any scene from Jaws. The moment Brody sees the shark breach the water behind the boat, for example, and you see a real reaction, a real performance, a man confronted by something primal and unstoppable. The famous,
"You're gonna need a bigger boat,"
line wasn't just iconic, it was earned. That fear felt genuine. Now, watch The Meg. Jason Statham, a professional at playing Jason Statham, is acting against a green screen. His lines are desperate to be as iconoclast as "you're gonna need a bigger boat," but through that effort alone, they fall flat.
I'm gonna make this thing bleed.
Shark movies are a genre that cannibalizes itself. Every new entry has to go bigger. It strips away the fundamental tension that makes Jaws work. And yet the studios keep pushing, because that's what franchise logic demands. More sequels. Jaws wasn't trying to be a franchise. It was an adaptation of a novel. It was over budget, it was almost a disaster, and it became a masterpiece because nobody knew what they were doing, and Spielberg made choices based on necessity and instinct. The last real reason Jaws still towers over the rest is because it understood that the ocean is scary, not because of what's in it, but because of what we don't know is in it. The ocean is a perfect metaphor. It's vast, unknowable, indifferent. It doesn't care if you're scared, it doesn't care if you live, and Jaws tapped into that, made the fear existential.
They're all gonna die.
That's why Brody is so relatable. He's not an action hero, he's not a marine biologist, he's just a guy trying to keep people safe. And the ocean laughs at him. Most shark movies today don't care about that. They're not about us. They're about the monster, the spectacle, which is fine. That can be fun, but it's not lasting. Nobody's staying up at night thinking about the ending of 47 Meters Down. Nobody's having nightmares about the Meg 2. But people still talk about that girl getting pulled underwater in the opening of Jaws, about the Indianapolis speech, about the final showdown on the boat as Brody climbs the mast with nothing but a rifle and a compressed air tank. It sticks because it meant something, because it was grounded in character, because it respected the audience's fear instead of trying to outpace it with pixels. When Jaws hits IMAX screens for its 50th anniversary, there will be two types of people in the theater. The ones who grew up with it and the ones who've never seen it on a big screen before. Both will feel the same thing, that creeping dread, the slow build, the moment when the fin slices through the water, the silence just before the scream. It will feel old, but it will also feel timeless, because Jaws wasn't just the first summer blockbuster, it was the last of its kind. And well, that's all we have for this episode of Nerdstalgic. What do you think? Is there a film that even remotely rivals Jaws? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, please like and subscribe for more Nerdstalgic videos just like this.